city manager the benefit of the doubt. I was asked to by a constituent, and I listened, and I did that. I said, I don't have enough information to go one way or another on this. Let's give him more time. More than 6 months has passed, and I have that information. And you heard a woman talk about it tonight about the finance department. I can tell you it's not the only department that has issues. I've been in situations like that as an employee, and they're ugly situations. I was asked to intervene in one of the situations. The result was that 4 people got fired. I've been told by current and former city employees, if they talk to one of us, anybody on council, they would be terminated. That was their fear. And Mr. Johnston just said, well, it's in the code. Fine. They're not getting their voices out. When one person was fired, we, as a council, received an email that said, it would do no good for you to talk to that person. I know and when we talk about the audit, and people keep saying, we oppose the audit. No, I never voted against an audit. Also, I was accused of not answering my phone, not returning a phone call. Everybody can get my personal number. I answer my phone. You can ask people out here. I answer my phone all the time. Ms. Schock, if I didn't answer your call, it's not on my phone. I can probably show you now. I keep calls of numbers that I don't recognize. We've talked before, we've conversed before. I've listened, you've talked, I've talked, you listened. Don't say that I'm not approachable. And again, I listened to people 6 months ago to give the city manager another chance. I got the evidence I needed. And in spite of that, the water issue always comes up. Every one of us has voted for the audit. Well, there was one instance in a public meeting in this room where Mr. Johnston did not vote for something that was part of the audit, and that was the people who chose the auditor for the independent audit. And among those people was, anyway, he voted against it because he thought it was political. We chose 2 auditors and 2 council members, and the 2 auditors couldn't be, the 2 auditors we chose first, and the council members couldn't be from the same core as the auditors. That way, they would get input from the entire city. I knocked myself out by having one of the auditors in. I would have been on the committee gladly. But, you know, I've been a journalist for 50 years, 50. I wrote the ethics policy for a newspaper. The company that owned that newspaper decided to use that ethics policy. My ethics policy included fairness and accuracy. And I haven't always seen that, but I believe in it. And I will call you, I will talk to you. I don't know how I missed 2 phone calls. And I got none of them because I answered my phone.
Councilmember Wallen.
Thank you. Well, I want to thank the community for coming out also. We are a participatory democracy, and you've shown your commitment to it by coming. In our country, we hold the value of due process in the highest regard. We affirm it in the Constitution twice, in the 5th and 14th Amendments. It's that important. Section 35 of the Colorado Constitution agrees. As council members, we have all sworn to uphold both of those fine documents. I don't believe that's what we've seen. I've asked myself if the ends can ever justify the means. We've all made mistakes, but I've learned in my life it's never acceptable to breach moral, ethical, or legal boundaries to achieve a perceived greater good. There's no exception for expediency. There's no exception for convenience. And there's always time to do the right thing, unless that time was squandered. And I believe we had time to do the right thing. We passed on the opportunity to follow proper means last year, and it's been nothing but a game to get us to this point. We had time for 360 evaluations. We didn't pursue them. I can tell you that this governing body does not all have the same facts, nor do we receive information in the same timely manner. It's been said that members can't reveal personnel reasons. Well, they can and should to each other. Members have asked for facts. They don't have them, but they're asked to make a decision. The citizens of Brighton deserve more. The employees of the city deserve more, including Mr. Rodriguez. And your fellow council members deserve more. Now, this body only has the power that the people have given us. And that power can only be used when we act as a body. We have no individual powers up here without each other. So clearly, if we're not all privy to the same information, it is impossible to make moral, ethical, or legal decisions as a governing body. The point I'm trying to make is we don't just care about the results, which are at times unpredictable and unknown. We care about why people do what they do, and we care about how they go about doing it. The ends don't justify the means tonight. Thank you.
Would any other council members like to speak before we move on the motion on the floor? We have a motion on the floor as presented by Councilwoman Pollock. Would the city clerk please read that motion back to us?
I apologize, Your Honor, I did not get the entire motion.
Councilwoman Pollock, could you please restate it so the council or the city clerk could get it in its entirety?
At this time, I would like to make a motion to remove from the record the administrative leave that was placed on July 9th, 2019 on City Manager Philip Rodriguez, and that it become null and void. Also, that any other action regarding the removal or the suspension of the City Manager Philip Rodriguez must go through the proper okay. Regarding the removal or the suspension of the city manager, Philip Rodriguez, must go through the proper procedure in accordance with the city charter, section 7.4. Good?
Have a proper motion and a second.
Point of order, Your Honor, is this is a yes vote. It means what, just to be very clear?
A yes vote would mean that we would remove the action that was taken last week.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Is that correct?
Mayor, there was a little bit of a change in the motion, that there was a second, so I just asked that we clarify the record with the second.
I'd love to second that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So again, to clarify the vote, a yes vote would mean that we reverse the decision that was made last week. Correct? Okay. Roll call vote. We'll get a clean screen so we're not voting. Yeah, you've got to, well, we've got to get a clean motion up on the screen. Okay, now, that's still the wrong text on the motion.
Yeah.
Will it show up on this? Yeah,
It'll show on the screen.
it will be here. No, it's in there.
It's up there. Yeah, but it also shows on the screen.
Well, that's what I'm asking. Yeah, it should be this one also.
It'll show up on this one.
Yeah.
And
The result will show up.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, well, I can't see that far.
That's a question for Jack. Can we put the general in?
You can designate it as the motion made by Councilmember Pollock and seconded by Councilmember Johnston. Or alternatively, we could just do a voice
Yeah,
vote.
could we do that again? Just a roll call.
Get it on the record.
Mayor Kreutzer?
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Edwards?
No.
Councilmember Baca? No. Councilmember Blackhurst?
No.
Councilmember Humbert?
No.
Councilmember Johnston?
Yes.
Councilmember Mills?
Yes.
Councilmember Pollock?
Yes.
Councilmember Wallen?
Yes.
The motion fails by a vote of 5-4.
Duh.
So the issue is still on the agenda? Councilmember Mills, I guess I'll go ahead and allow you to speak. At the risk of time and the fact that we still have another motion to go through, I'll ask you to be brief, as you would be your second time as well.
No problem. Thank you, Mayor. I would like to make an alternate motion to table this issue to a future date to when the city manager review is complete and the forensic audit is also complete.
I'll second that motion.
A motion and a second. Table it. Who did you accept as a second? Kirby? It's still not the right one, so it's the motion to table is from Councilmember Mills, seconded by Wallen. Now, okay, roll call vote again then, Madam City Clerk?
Mayor Kreutzer?
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Edwards?
No.
Councilmember Baca?
No.
Councilmember Blackhurst?
No.
Councilmember Humbert?
No.
Councilmember Johnston?
Yes.
Councilmember Mills?
Yes.
Councilmember Pollock?
Yes.
Councilmember Wallen?
Yes.
Your Honor, the motion fails by a vote of 5 to 4.
Excuse me. There's still an item on the agenda, or on the table. I'll accept a motion. Mayor Pro Tem?
Well, certainly listening, I'd like to make some statements and then a motion, but certainly listening to all my council members and their considerations, I guess I have some information that I'd like to provide you. And it is because of the oath I took 7.5 years ago, and again 3.5 years ago, and because of my 40+ years of my ethics and integrity as a banker and my commitment to this community for the betterment, I move to approve for consideration the removal of Philip Rodriguez as city manager and authorize the payment of severance to him pursuant to his employment agreement with the city.
I have a motion, I have a second. Councilman Blackhurst?
I'll second that motion. I apologize. I had dental surgery this afternoon and I have still packing in my mouth, so I apologize for my voice. All that said, I'll try to be brief. I don't have much to say other than what I said last week, so I'll reiterate. Number one, and most important, my decision tonight is going to be based on information that I have personally, verified information about the performance and some questionable integrity issues regarding the city manager's performance. Number two, the audit has absolutely nothing to do with my decision tonight. I pledge that I will continue to push for clarity. I think we owe it to our citizens. There have been some great ideas here that I applaud and will push for about open public meetings to educate people about what's going on with the utility fund. My frustration is this information came out. Would you let me talk, please?
Excuse me.
This information came out last fall. Tonight, we still don't have information from the city manager about details. I've asked for them on several occasions, both in emails and personally, to be specific about where that money is. We have 7 different funds in the utility department, 7 funds, not one. That 70 million is not in the water department. It's spread among the 7 different funds. I asked for an accounting of what those funds are, where the money comes from. We receive more money every year from tap fees than we do from water sales. And that's to be used to improve the system for specific purposes. We take in from $8 to $15 million in tap fees every year. I'm just saying there's plenty of questions that we still do not have, and we will get to the bottom of it. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to deliver a list of these questions to our interim city manager and ask for a response at least within the next week. These are not difficult. It should be readily available information that we should have gotten a long time ago. We will continue to push for it. I agree with many of you. There's many things out there that are questions about what's going on in the utility fund. Not only that, a long time ago in the police department, we took the motto that the customer was always right. And we tried to work on customer service. And we tried to work on the golden rule. I've heard from you and I've heard from other citizens, that's probably not happening in the utility department. That's got to change. We have to be more customer friendly and understand people's conditions and situations. And that culture needs to be changed if it isn't what it should be. And that's my pledge on the utility side. So I would be happy to second that motion.
Proper motion is second. Any further discussion?
Mr. Mayor, seeing that on the agenda, it says payment of severance. The taxpayers here in the audience need to know what that payment is.
Mr. George, could you elaborate on that?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Phillips' contract under 10B provides for unilateral termination by the city. That is termination that is not for cause being addressed in 10C, section 10C. The specific cause reasons that would trigger for cause in 10C, there's 4 of them. There's no allegation of that is the case, and that therefore the terms and conditions of 10B control. 10B provides that in his contract provides that he is entitled to 9 months of salary at his current rate. Based on my math and based on the last addendum to his contract that was last fall, 9 months equates to $142,912.
Thank you. I'd like to make a statement before we vote. There's been, first of all, I really do appreciate the public coming out tonight. And I agree we have a lot of healing as a city to do. And I take that shame. There was a statement made, and I don't want to go back and review all the statements that were made, especially against me tonight. We'd be here another 4 hours, and we do have more business to do. There was a statement made that, in my opinion, and that's right, my opinion, I'm but one vote. I'm one vote, okay? And so I don't have, and Councilman Wallen said nobody has individual powers. I don't have individual powers. I have one vote. And it's my conscience, my vote, my decision. It's just one. The word courage came up a lot tonight. This has been one of the hardest and most courageous things I've ever done for the city that I love. We do have a divided council. If we would not make this decision tonight, our council wouldn't automatically be healed. We as a council have to become undivided. And I wish I had a message to how we could do that, okay? Just one side or the other rolling over isn't gonna take that. I have said that the utility situation has nothing to do with the situation tonight. And maybe I'll change that and say just very little to do. I think I have other serious concerns. I shared a lot of those concerns with the city manager over time. Didn't feel like I got anywhere. As a matter of fact, I thought our division got deeper and deeper. But I will say this. It has been said multiple times in here. We want answers on this audit. We want answers on the water situation. And it's been going on for over a year. And as council, we only get the answers that come to us. And if we had those answers, there might be a chance we wouldn't be here tonight. I can't say. But we're still gonna go out and get those answers. I promise you that. I promise you that. My love for the city doesn't change. This is very difficult. I thank you all for coming out tonight. Is there any further discussion, Councilwoman?
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to respond to your response that, yes, you're only one person, and that, yes, you're the one that decided. But according to charter, you should have discussed it with city attorney, the municipal court judge, maybe the rest of council, before you moved to get rid of Mr. Rodriguez. So that's why I brought that up the way I did, Mayor, is because you didn't go through protocol or charter. We're expected to do that, I think. Maybe not, maybe we'll just blow that to the wind. But anyway, just in response to your response, thank you.
I thank you, and I'll respond back by saying I've read that section that you've read many times, and it reads fairly difficult, and I'll ask you maybe to read it again, because it talks about the city council's decision, and they have hiring authority over the mayor, the municipal judge, and the city attorney. And it regards all three of those in terms of the hiring decisions that we have over those three. It does not mean that you go through those three. I would just encourage you to read that closely.
I'll read it again. It says, neither of the council, the mayor, nor any council member shall dictate or interfere with the appointment of or the duties of any city employee subordinate to the city manager.
That's right, and I did not do that. We're not talking about an employee other than the city manager. The city manager is the one that we hire. So this is dealing with the city manager.
Correct, Mayor, but anybody that works under the city manager that he's in charge of is his subordinate.
That's correct. And I gave no direction to any of his subordinates.
Okay.
Point of order, you're terminating the city manager because you have intervened in a personnel matter, just as the code said. So don't try to act like there's legalese there. That was very clear.
Roll call vote. All votes cast? Motion passes by a vote of 5-4. We will take a 10-minute break. It's now 10:10. We'll reconvene at 10:20.